Well, welcome back to On the Nose. It's an opportunity for us to look back on the weekend and see how the TAB went versus the punters in terms of the domestic meetings that we had on a Saturday, well, thoroughbred meetings. And, of course, we didn't quite have as many as we usually do last Saturday, Thad.
No, we didn't. Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, as always. No, we didn't. Reviewing the domestic meetings from New Zealand on a Saturday was halved, basically, one meeting. So Otaki abandoned. Doesn't sound like there was anything they could have done. Been a bit of a wretched run of weather, but I'm not telling anyone anything that they don't know. At least we'll be back to Ellerslie this weekend upcoming where, the rain doesn't play quite as much of a part. But, down to one meeting, Otaki gone. Again, sometimes you just can't do anything about it. And this looks like there's one of those cases, and they made the call early as they possibly could, or as late as they possibly could, if one way or the other. But it was made first thing in the morning, so everyone sort of knew where they stood. This left us with Ashburton, which was a key lead up to Cup Week, but there'll be a few horses that'll be heading that way off the back of this meeting.
Okay, well then, let's head down south to Ashburton. We'll start at race 1, and tough start for punters, it looks like. Shakabra.
Yeah, Shakabra. Big price. Look, there's a little bit of money for it last time, and it finished second, but obviously the marketplace deemed that to be a weaker race. Weaker form race leading into it. The market gravitated towards Professional Lad in particular, who was a mover last time, ran well, was a mover again, and ran well again, to be fair. It was 416 to 380. That was minus 45,000. Quisiera was the other horse that shortened up in the marketplace. It was 420 to 390. Can't get a win at the moment. So another second for Quisiera. So unfortunate there. And just One True King, who boxed on really strongly for third. It was first up for the Tiakau stable from an awkward barrier draw, and it was fairly cold, in fact quite cold, even though it drifted only to $11 off a low of 10, I think. We didn't see a lot of support for it, and it ran very well up on the speed, crossed and sat outside leader. So the day you do see a bit of a push for One True King might be a day to sit up and take notice, because the run was good. I think even though Vinny got a fine for the excessive whip use on One True King in that one. But Shakabra, 26 out to 34. Some support off the back of that last start second, but it was a positive start to the day for the TAB. Plus 25,000. We're on our way here, Paul.
Okay.
Got to be good news here for the TAB today.
Here we go, race 2, and another roughie gets up, but it was a very close finish. They were 1, 2, 3, bob of the head sort of thing.
Yeah, they were. Town Belt for the locals, led up and led and held on. So it was 31 into 26, I should say. So just a little bit of support late, but the damage had been done. Plus 50,000 for Town Belt. A few horses to mention here. Elegant Explosive was the best backed of the favourites, or the worst way for the TAB. For the Parsons, it was 5 into 420. Pequot.
Pequot? Okay.
Pequot.
You sound that with a certain amount of authority.
I did look it up because I was worried about it on Saturday when I was having to go to air. And so I just type in the Pequot pronunciation, and there's videos for everything.
Right.
Pequot are obviously, as you know, Paul, the Native American tribe that hails from the Connecticut region of America,
yes.
and pronounced Pequot. Anyway, Pequot was 8 into 550, back to 650 late, but also a losing result. And 2 roughies they backed. A Porthouse Lady sat outside the speed and boxed on quite well. It was 18 into 12. And Huzzah. Now, this is the second time this has happened with Huzzah, and it got all the way back to last on a day that sort of favoured those up on speed. It was 21 into $11, Huzzah. It would be one I'd be marking down out of the race. It was a good run from the back of the field. Yes, it's 7 years old and, relatively lightly raced, but, Huzzah I'd be taking with me in the back pocket just to see where it goes next time, but Town Belt plus 50.
Race 3, and, if you're talking cycling, you knew this would be a winner. What is it, Podka?
Pagacha.
Pagacha.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on fire with the pronunciations.
We've gone from Pequot to
Pequot
to
Pagacha. Yeah. Look, I'm getting it wrong more often than not, but customers certainly didn't. They absolutely flat out nailed us here. And look, I was counting my chickens. I said, even on trackside, I said, we were flying. Race 2, 34s or 39s for Shakabra and 31s for Town Belt. And it was all very easy.
Flying.
And it all turned around very quickly, starting with us. Pagacha, 8 into 6. First up, short career, only 4 starts. We'll start 5 on Saturday. 1 win, 2 placings, had looked progressive, trialled up well. And then the trainer, Ross Beckett, came on and gave it the green light. And it eased in the market late with some support for others. But meanwhile, our customers were listening to Ross, and obviously the word was out. I'd labelled it as a market mover early in the day, and they just kept piling it on. Minus 145,000 Pogacar. And the horse that ran third, Flat Stanley, continues to be a market mover, got a bit far out of its ground. It was minus 100,000. It was rattling home. It was 14 into 9. A couple of other movers. Mogul was 9 into 6. It got a bit far off them. Sort of shape of the race didn't suit Mogul, but there was a move there, and Stout ran well. It was also 8 into 6, but they crushed us here with Pogacar minus $145,000.
Now, I'm going to say it pays to watch trackside on a Saturday then. If Ross Beckett is tipping out one in race 3 at Ashburton, I'm fairly sure that Pam Gerard did something similar with Aidan Rodley up at Ellerslie a month or so ago, and identified one at significant odds.
Now,
was it affirmative action? I think it was.
Don't remind me. I know what it was. Maybe the viewers did. Affirmative action. Yeah. You're right. I certainly didn't need reminding. But yeah, no, 100%. I mean, and they do a good job, the presenters on trackside. If you can just sort of find the right people, if they're keeping an eye on the marketplace, which I'd like to think that they are, and most are, and then they can sort of tailor their interviews around these key runners. And they got the right interview, and it happens a lot. So. Yeah, he was like, yes, this horse is going well, trialled well. I expect it to be going very close today. He's a good horse going forward. It was all positive. And look, sometimes you can take what these people are saying with a grain of salt to a degree, because, you have to be positive to a level with your own stock. And
no, you'd be concerned if your trainer came up on telly and said, no, we're no chance, forget about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
You'd be more, particularly you put yourself on a hole there, because if it does come out and win, you can be in all sorts of bother. But he was positive. The marketplace was positive, certainly early. The only negative people was me in the TAB traders after the race. 145.
Gee, punters seem to be fighting back here.
Yeah, I think you'll be onto a theme here in a minute.
Race 4, and it looks like, was it the favourite, that Rozzo that got up here? Rozzo? Is it named after our Rozzo?
I don't think so. Although he would
runs as fast as
he would be he would be world famous. I mean, he would be famous in Ireland as well, Rosso.
Fleet-footed,
to be fair.
Yeah,
very light on his feet.
Yep.
Might have been your bet of the day as well.
Oh,
I did say on the leg up. If it was one man that can sniff out a plunge, it's you, Paul Moati. You were onto it. I mean, did you watch Sam Weatherly say that on Thursday night before you made it your best bet, or
no?
It was a coincidence. Is that what you're claiming?
No, I was in bed early. I had to get up early on Friday, head to Rangatira Golf Course. So,
yeah, you weren't heading to the leg up on Friday, that's for sure. Look, 4 into 290. They were hammering it from Thursday night onwards, to be fair, off the back of the comments of Sam Weatherly.
Good on you, Sam.
Yeah, good on you. Good on him. Absolutely.
Yep.
Let the customers know. And, I mean, it's good to be positive if you're positive, And so, he bolted in, to be fair. But he did ease to 330, and I said on trackside on the day, an almost inevitable ease around Rosso, because
just with all of that early sort of action.
Exactly, all that early action. They tend to go too far. Then the doubt starts to creep in terms of it's first up in New Zealand. Then Matt Pittman was like, well, yes, he's a very good horse, but he's going to get better. And people start seeing other things late proceedings. So I said he's easing, but it wasn't a concerning drift. He got back out to 330. The damage was well and truly done. Minus 110,000 Rosso, so another triple figure loss.
Here comes
or
the
6-figure loss, I should probably say. Here they come, all right. Minus 110. Persona was 8 to 550, ran well. A New Beginning placed and was 14 into 12. Second go on the turf after running on the synthetic, and the New Beginning for John Blackadder might be something to follow out of the race as well. And Light of Plutus. They got the money when it won its maiden 2 starts ago now, and they backed it up. It was minus 160,000 Light of Plutus. Just thought I'd mention it for customers so they can, make what they like of it. But certainly a lot of support. It was 26 into 18 Light of Plutus. But yeah, we got pitied. by Rosso. Or maybe we got Sam Weatherly.
Sam Weatherly.
One or the other.
I think it might be Sam Weatherly.
Yeah, it was this time, but it was minus 110 progressive. I mean, I don't think they'll be thinking New Zealand Cup this year, but I don't think he'd be completely out of play for what we saw there.
Race 5 and Court of Appeal with Bruno Quiros on board, and it looks punters may have got this one right as well. Gee, this is starting to add up.
Speaking of a New Zealand Cup, she comes right into it.
Here we go.
They obviously knew or thought she was going to make a good staying mare, because I think she'd only had one go over ground and hadn't sort of featured, but she was coming back. She was going from a mile up to the 2100. Gee, the money was strong. It was well placed. It was the first Tiakau runner all day that they'd really got stuck into, and they got it dead right. Those are the ones you want to watch from the Tiakau stable, particularly down south. You know, if they're lukewarm or, dare I say, easing, maybe not. And look, One True King nearly bucked that trend in the first of the day, so obviously it doesn't always happen, but this was one they latched on to. 7 into 480. She's gone from 21 to 14 in a New Zealand Cup and looks a real talented staying mare. In fairness, the marketplace nailed this because Musayev was 7 into 480. I think that ran third. It was minus 50,000. So it was minus 60,000 Court of Appeal. Musayev was 7 into 480 minus 50,000. And the two opening favourites were out the gate. Prince Albie was 550 out to 9, and Pro Sir was 550 out to 11. Bit of money for Star Ballot and SVR, 14 into $11, but minus 60 Court of Appeal, minus 145, minus 110, minus 60 Court of Appeal.
Can the bookies bounce back in race 6 with Spot on Time and Vinnie Colgan? I'm saying probably not.
Short answer, no.
Oh, no.
The only thing that limited the damage here was the move for the stablemate in Texas Dolly, who was 12 into 650. So that just put just slowed it up a wee bit around Spot on Time, who looks a super talent in a short period of time, putting together a good horse's record. Yes, it was 320 out to 360, and I thought, this is going to go north of $4 with the way this is going, and then bang, just back to 350 late to say, oh no, this is a proper horse, don't worry. Texas Dolly 12 into 650. She didn't run badly. She got caught 3 wide, basically the trip, and so she'll keep. Tiki over raced at the back. It was minus 40,000. She's a mare, so I always say she's caused us a lot of headaches, Tiki, in her shortish career. The money was there to say she's in good fettle, so mark her down. And the run of Insatiable, here's a Tiakau runner that went the other way, 550 out to 850, and ran a good race. So what I'm saying here, and performs better second up again. So just even though the marketplace wasn't with it this time, the run suggests nearly ready Insatiable. So I'll be marking
it down.
I'll be marking Insatiable down.
All right.
But Spot on Time minus 20 would have been worse had it not been for Texas Dolly.
Race 7, the Ashburton Cup, and Sir Albert, the favourite, had around even money.
Yeah.
So Hunters get it right again.
They do. They particularly do late, and the only thing that saved us here, this move came in the last hour of trading, and all the early money was with Cognito going for 3 in a row. It was 550 into 460, Cognito. Sir Albert was 360, sort of hovering around 350, 340. And in the last hour, went 340, 323, 280, 260, 250, 235 it started at Sir Albert. So it was a great move from the marketplace. How's this coffee? You need water.
Jeez, crikey. Fair income.
One of those little tickler.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, we're nearly there. Cognito minus 100,000. So that meant Sir Albert was plus 20. Harlech was the only other significant move. 18 into 11 for a good horse. He didn't run badly. He's going to be better with racing, Harlech, so they must think he's in reasonable nick coming back. But good move late for the marketplace, but it was a small win plus 20 with the money for Cognito.
Race 8, and it was the Group 3 Barneswood Farm Stakes for the 3-year-olds. And is this a Tiakau runner that the market may have missed?
Yes.
Now, Cool as a Rain getting up, but the stablemate, was it Beldemont, has beaten Cool as a Rain prior to this, and I think there was support for a lot of go as well.
Yep. Yeah, after my great speech about watching out for Tiakau drifters, this was a Tiakau drifter who surprised everyone, to be fair. Still had some fans because it's a Tiakau horse that has got a good winning strike rate, really, if truth be told, but I mean, even Sam Burgesson in the Stipes report was asked to explain the improvement in performance, and he was somewhat surprised, I think was the term, around Cool Azarine, who we started to peg, or we started to think, as the vibes we were getting were, as it gets to 1400 and beyond, it's not going to be a factor. And we're going to see the likes of a Belle de Monde and even a Origin of Love surpass Cool Azarine, and she'd be kept to sprinting trips. Well, she was ridden with a trail, so got a gun run, settled well, and got the chance to run at the 1400 with a gun ride. I think it was Bruno, wasn't it?
Bruno, it was indeed.
Yeah, so she was out as far as $81 on 1,000 guineas on the back of her last start in the Canterbury Bell, and we've had to have the boys have had to have a very
bit of a rethink here,
around that. And to be fair, we probably overreacted to everything we were sort of seeing and sensing and hearing, because they only wanted 2 here. Miss Starlight was 5 into 310. She sat outside leader, wasn't bad, but didn't run as well as the market was anticipating. In fairness, 5 into 310 minus. She was minus 130. And a lot of Go continues to impress. Doesn't run a bad race. Is the 2,000 guineas a bridge too far? Well, he's out there around $16. I mean, geez, I don't think he'll run badly. He was 5 into 390 here. Mrs. Ziggy was good too, to be fair. She was 13 all the way up to $23, which looked a massive price after her, I know it was a maiden win last time, back into 18 late. And she was storming home. She was last in the run. She's still in 1,000 guineas market, something out there around $21. So, look, is this form going to stack up to 1,000, 2,000 guineas? Well, remains to be seen. Probably not the A-grade form, but stranger things have happened. It was plus 50,000 Cool Azarine.
Race 9 and Elusive Impact gets up at around $20. So a late fight back by bookies.
A late fight back, and a much-needed fight back too, as far as we were concerned. We were well and truly on the ropes and stayed there, and we'll get to that number in a minute. But, it was Show Pony who ran second, which was the big mover late, 6 into 350, minus 60,000. And Loose Sally was resuming the Dunedin Guineas winner. She was very good, very good. I think she was won a War Step, her last preparation. She was 6 into 4, back to 440 with the money for Show Pony, which meant that Elusive Impact, even though it was a little turn in late, 16 out to 21, back to its opening quote of 16, was plus 90,000. On Fire was 16 into 12 for the Parsons team, minus 30. But thanks to Show Pony and Loose Sally, it was plus 90 in the last. It was obviously quite a high turnover race because customers had
they had a whole heap of cash in their pockets.
They had a fair bit in their pockets after the day they'd had there at Ashburton.
So it sounded like a bookie sort of started off on fire and finished with a bit of a whack, but all the meat in the sandwich belonged to the punters.
Well put. And they had a fairly decent wedge of it too, I'd suggest. So, yeah, it was some big results there. And Pagacha minus 145, Rosso minus 110, Court of Appeal was minus 60. Spot on Time could have been a lot worse for us, but it still wasn't bad for customers. It was minus 100,000 for the TAB at Ashburton. So a winning day for customers domestically in New Zealand on Saturday.
Okay, so just one meeting on Saturday. Did you want to touch on a race from Sunday, or are you happy to let that go?
Oh, look, we can talk about the Swainess. It was won by Twain, who was the opening favourite. And actually, Twain started joint second favourite with Midnight Edition, drifted all the way out to 480. All the money was with Grail Seeker. She was $10 into around $4. He might have even been 380, so probably a misprice nonetheless. But she was minus 135, which meant Twain was around plus 60,000 for the TAB there, which is very unusual to be winning that much on Twain. She ran okay. Grail Seeker didn't really put in, looked to be sort of trucking on the corner and didn't quite finish off. So don't know what they're going to do with her. I haven't read the Stipes report if there's anything in there around her. The only losing result for the TAB was that talented Mare Smart Love in the last for the O'Sullivan Scott team. She's put two together back to back, and haven't they known about it? Master was on, wasn't he? And
he was indeed.
Yeah, so it was a relatively toughish day for customers at Rotorua, but Twain winning was good for some, but relatively good for the TAB. But finished with a bang was Smart Love, who now goes 2 for 2.
Right, so a fantastic day for punters at Ashburton on Saturday. And the bookies sort of tweaked a wee bit back on Sunday at Rotorua.
Clawed a bit back, yeah.
Okay, that's it for another On the Nose. But next week, of course, it's you'll be looking back.
Yes, I'll be on my own, won't I?
Well, you might be. I don't
Yeah.
know. I know you.
It
Won't. I won't be
you.
here.
Yeah,
No.
we know that. Yeah.
No, but you'll be looking back on Livermore Day from Ellerslie and also that meeting from Trentham as well.
Yeah, can't wait. Obviously, Livermore Day is going to be exciting. Those markets will be out Wednesday afternoon if you're watching this on Wednesday morning or Tuesday night. Can't wait. El Vencedor versus Waitak versus Ladies Man versus some others in that Livermore and that soliloquy. Quintessa, Legato. And that soliloquy should be an absolute banger. With an eye to the 1,000 guineas that you would think.
There's a couple of races going on across the ditch as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, something named after a mountain, but not sure. But no, what a day's racing we've got upcoming on Saturday.
Yep, can't wait. Righty ho, Thad, thank you for joining in once again, and thank you to everyone out there for listening and or watching. And Thad will definitely be back next week, another edition of On the Nose.